Today I'm showing you one of the most important parts of the Enforcer Ranger build is the suspension. So who have I come to see? My mates down at King Springs. Come to the workshop and let's get going. Hey, just before we get started, have a look around the shelves here of these thousands of automotive springs. Now, King Springs, been around for decades, is one of the largest manufacturers of automotive springs in the world. A real Australian success story, and don't forget, they supply a majority of the springs for the V8 supercar teams. That's how I got to know them, because a couple of Bathurst and a championship I won were all on springs made by this factory. And seriously, there is literally hundreds of thousands of springs. There is more springs here than Hugh Hefner's mattress. Rest easy, big fella. Okay, now the techie bit. Right, first, springs. The King spring that I chose, or was recommended by the guys, is this progressive rate spring. Now, as you can see here, really unique. Zoom in, camera girl. Now, you can see the wires here are really thin on their first part of it, and then as they go around, they get thicker and thicker. So what that is that it controls the rate better, and the transition from when you're going into bump, when it's really compressed, more importantly on how it releases. Everyone thinks it's all about pushing down, put a big spring in it to try and keep it off the deck. Well, it's actually about how the spring releases its tension is most important. And that's where these springs are so unique and a great development. We used to run these in the Perkins Commodores back in the early 90s. So they've been around for a while, and again, the racing side of the development has made its way into the road car stuff. So really cool. Right, let me get rid of that. Bilstein dampers. Now, why did I choose them? I did like everyone else does. I went around and actually asked a few people, you know, what have you used and what's your feedback on it? Because word of mouth is still the best way to go. I don't profess to be a 4x4 expert, so I had an ask around, but I also asked my mate Laurie here at King Springs, who does a lot of development in the supercars with dampers and springs, and he said Bilstein are really good because they've got this monotube technology, which means inside of here, their technology with the piston that runs up and down in the oil that actually controls bump and rebound as that shock is going up and down is pretty advanced, more advanced than most other damper manufacturers, and that is important. It's not about the pretty colours and how it looks, it's what's inside this damper is an important thing, and Bilstein is one of the best on the market. So like I said, I went on word of mouth, but also technology. This is one of the best, so that's why I went with them. And you've got to remember here that everything that I've designed on this Ranger is to suit driving an everyday car. This is my everyday driver, so it's about driving every day on bitumen, but also if I want to go off-road, if I want to go to Moreton Island, do a bit of 4x4ing, it'll cop that too. So I think that's really important as well. So I don't want to get heaps of comments from hardcore 4x4 mates that's saying, oh, that's not tough enough, you know, but you got to remember, horses for courses. This will do both nicely, and it does. I've driven this on the road, and seriously, it drives so nice. It drives better than I did standard. So really cool, but I know if I want to take it off-road, it'll put up with a bit. Second thing is, don't forget, you guys that go out like I did and put big offset wheels and bigger wheels on, not only are they very heavy, but also the leverage point comes out. So I'm going to show you just with this crowbar. Rightio, here's a pivot point back here. When you've got a standard wheel, the wheel's back in here because you've got very little offset in the wheel. So when it goes up, you haven't got that much movement or that much leverage because your bar is very small. When you go to a big offset wheel, you come out here, all of a sudden you've got a lot more leverage and a lot more movement. Effectively, it actually reduces your spring rates and your dampening rates. So you've got to upgrade that. So just don't throw a big set of wheels on. And again, the weight, I mean, the wheels I've got in this are almost twice as heavy as a standard wheel, that all of a sudden your shocker and spring combination have got to control that. So very important to uprate that to control all those factors as well. So I hope that's explained it well enough. Like I said, that's the best combination I reckon I could have put on this truck, and a lot of others agree too. So I hope you do as well, and hope this has been helpful. They hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty, trying to catch me